Chairman, Mayor, we're going to go ahead and get the meeting called to order. I think the time is upon us. The November 8th City Council meeting of Shreveport is now called to order. Pastor Warren of the Grace Community United Methodist Church will lead us in prayer, and Attorney William Bradford will lead us in the pledge. Let us stand, please.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you on this election day for the freedom we have to cast our ballots. Thank you for civil servants who gather in this community to make decisions for the common good. And we ask you that you bless the proceedings of this council and that you may give these leaders wisdom and give citizens too, oh God, a voice so that we can make our community better. Bless, keep, stay with us, oh God, we ask. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please face the flag and say in unison, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you may call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradford.
Present.
Mr. Everson.
Here.
Mr. Jenkins.
Present.
Mr. Corbin.
Present.
Mr. Fleury.
Present.
Ms. Lynch. Mr. Bowman.
Okay, thank you. Let me, at this time, for those in the audience, we do have a public hearing today regarding our proposed 2017 budget. If you would like to speak on the budget during the public hearing, please fill out a citizen's request form and pass it to one of the clerks, and they will pass it to me. You must have filled out a request to speak form in advance of you coming up to speak. Okay? All right, this time I will receive a motion to approve the minutes of our previous meetings and conferences.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second by the chair. It's been moved and second that the minutes of the conference of the 24th of October, the regular meeting of the 25th, and the special meeting of the 25th would be adopted. Are there any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 5-0. 2 are absent out of the chamber. Thank you. This time I would receive from the council members any recognitions, awards, or communication from the council members. I see Councilman Corbin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to recognize at this time my friend and my pastor, Pastor Juan Cortez, and ask him to come to the podium. And while he's coming up to say a few words, just some background. Pastor Juan has come to Shreveport and been very involved in things in our community, especially as of late in some of the discussions on violence and relationships within our city. And I am very proud of that, and just wanted us to hear a few words from him today, if we could.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Warren, for coming down.
Thank you. Juan Huertas from Grace Community United Methodist Church in Shreveport, and Mr. Chairman, Mayor Tyler, and Councilman Corbin, thank you for this time. I guess I just have to say that it's been an interesting journey here in Shreveport, learning to the community and getting our children in school, and we have become really ingrained in the Shreveport community, and we care for the community, and we constantly have been talking together as a church about what does it mean for us to be part of of the group of citizens and with government to come together so that Shreveport is a better place to live. I reminded our congregation on Sunday as we got ready to vote today that there were 3 markers for me of what it meant to be people who were both people of faith but who were engaged in the matters of the communities we live in for the common good. And so that's part of what I wanted to say to you today, to all of us, that we are to be a people of humility, a people of compassion, and a people that sought to make peace in the world. And that I believe that actually faith communities of all stripes and all of you together can make for a better community in the long term. And that we have to find ways to get beyond conversation into action as we both communicate with our citizens through our faith communities, but also as we come together and bring the best wisdom of faith communities and government and other nonprofits so that then we together can make a difference. A safer, stronger community, a community that is flourishing, and as my faith reminds me, especially for those who need it most, for the hungry, for the sick, for the imprisoned, for those folks who need the support of a community like ours. And I just hope and pray that we can find those points of connection between what you do here and the lives of the people that we serve. And I think sometimes it just seems like it's so far out, what you do here from what we live out there. And I just hope that you know that in me as a faith leader, and I know I am not alone, that we just want to build a bridge so that we can make the city of Shreveport that place to raise our children and grandchildren in together. We're better together. And so thank you for your work. We pray for you each day. And let's continue in conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Mr. Chairman, I should have said this earlier. Pastor Juan just finished this sermon series this past weekend about Christianity and politics, which I found very interesting and very educational. And at times, I will say, he did have me squirming in my seat a little bit. But I wish that we all could have sat through and heard every bit of that. That's all I've got, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman, and thank you, Pastor Warren, for those very inspiring remarks. It's all about brotherhood. It's all about what we can do for everybody, but especially the least of us. Thank you.
If I could just compliment real quickly, I will say at several events I've attended lately, people who have seen volunteering and who've had really nice attitudes have happened to mention where they go to church, and several of them, I'm seeing a trend there, are members of this church here. So congrats on that. I have noticed that, so that's a good thing to notice.
Thank you for those remarks also. Any other communication from council members? And none? Madam Mayor, you have any communications or awards?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We have 2 or 3 announcements, and then we have one little presentation that we'd like to share with our citizens this afternoon. Let me first say happy Election Day to everybody, and I hope everybody will take the opportunity to go out and vote. Our second announcement, our first Shreveport citywide holiday celebration will kick off at 3 p.m. Saturday, November 26th at Riverview Park. We will have the lighting of our 40-foot decorated tree. By the way, it was donated. In addition to other holiday lighting all along the park. There will be entertainment, music, food, and arts and craft vendors. We're inviting all Shreveport families and families from around the Arklatex to join us in this festive occasion. We'll tell you more as we get closer to the event, but we want to make that announcement today. This is our first ever Shreveport citywide holiday celebration kickoff.
And that was the date and time again there?
3 p.m. Saturday, November 26th.
3 p.m. is 26th of November.
We want you to be there.
And the site is?
Riverview Park.
Riverview Park.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was distracted for a second.
That's okay. We'll be glad to repeat. We continue to serve our citizens with numerous events. Since we met last, the city has supported several events, including the State Fair, of course, of Louisiana. It's been in our city for about 2 weeks and will end this Sunday, November 13th. Our annual therapeutic Halloween event at Riverview Hall was held. Pumpkin Shine at Line at Betty, Virginia Park. Spark Community Centers hosted Halloween parties. And this coming weekend, we'll have the United States Tennis Association, Louisiana State Combo League Championship for men and women. And that will take place here at our city tennis courts. So we ask you to go out and support that activity. At this time, we have, I'd like to have Mrs. Orlena Acree, the Director of our Economic Development Department and Film, and of course, the Don't Be Trashy, Keep It Classy campaign. She does all of that. I'm going to ask her to come forward at this time with a presentation that she will use in recruiting businesses and industries to our city. I want you to know what you're about to see, and it's going to take about 7 minutes or a little more, is going to be an outstanding marketing tool, and it will also help educate our citizens about the tremendous assets that we have as a city. One of the things that we committed to do is to make sure that people in our city knew that we live in a great place, and that it's going to take us all, as Pastor Juan has said, to keep it great and to make it even better. So today, Ms. Acree has done a tremendous job, and she's worked very hard to pull together this video that we'll be using along with a brochure when we recruit businesses and when we talk to our citizens about the pride we feel as Shreveporters. Ms. Acree?
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Okay, I'm going to make it real brief because our video is a little over 7 minutes. And but I just wanted to let everyone know, to date, my department, which my predecessor was Liz McCain, have either called, there's total 70 companies that we've either visited, assisted, or they came to Shreveport to look at us to locate a business. We hope to begin a marketing plan soon, and this is just the beginning of what you're looking at now with the DVD, Quality of Life video on Shreveport. You'll see it in a few minutes. And then our economic development brochure, which will be online tomorrow on our website, and also will be the Quality of Life video. And 2 other things I want to say. We have, we do work very closely with all of our economic development partners. We couldn't do it alone. And we have 2 major grand openings next week: Whole Foods, Wednesday, November 16th at 7 a.m. in Kroger Marketplace. Friday is November 18th at 9 a.m. So just those 2 grand openings alone are 350 jobs. So we're very excited. So we're going to just sit back and y'all enjoy the video.
Not too big, not too small. Shreveport, Louisiana is just right. Looking for a city that's just right for you? Welcome to Shreveport. We are the 3rd largest city in Louisiana, located in the northwest corner of the state. As the seat of Caddo Parish, Shreveport also serves as the financial, commercial, and governmental hub of the area, known locally as the Artland Act. It's one of the friendliest cities in America, with an area population of more than 400,000, with amenities that rival many larger cities. We are a southern city, with small town charm and southern hospitality. It really is the best of both worlds, with something for everyone, from the beautiful riverfront to the luxury hotels and casinos. You'll find all the excitement at a Shreveport and entertainment destination. It all starts in a downtown that is experiencing a rebirth and seeing historic growth. Streets lined with businesses that lay next to newly renovated urban living spaces create a vibrant, bustling business district where urbanites can live, work, and play in close proximity. Downtown is also a place for entertainment and families with Sci-Court, a hands-on science center, and IMAX theater. Soon, our families and visitors will be able to walk across the streets to take in interactive experiences with a quiet light and a new state-of-the-art aquarium with fresh and saltwater habitat. Festival Plaza serves as a wonderful venue for many festivals and events. The Strand Theater is truly a beauty to behold and home to live entertainment. Our spectacular convention center is the second largest in Louisiana. Music still rings from the stage of our historic treasure, the Municipal Auditorium. Once home to musical legends such as Huddy Left Valley Ledbetter, Elvis Presley, Hank Williams Sr., B.B. King, James Burton, Johnny Horton, James Brown, Johnny Cash, and George Jones, just to name a few. A scenic Riverview Park overlooks the iconic Red River and provides a fantastic outdoor venue with water fountains for kids and adults to cool off. At night, downtown comes alive with plenty of action at our two casinos, Sam's Town and El Dorado. You might even catch live music at the Red River District. Along with the 4 other casinos across the Red River, it's easy to see why the area is rated as a top 10 gaming market in America. Shreveport is known for friendly folks who love to have a good time, and that is evidenced by the many festivals, including the Red River Rumble, named the top 10 festival in America, Mud Fight Madness, Like a Good Time Stroll, and many, many more. We are home to the Louisiana State Fair, with the largest speedway in the Mid-South. Once Mardi Gras rolls around, it's Les Le Fontaine Roulette, with numerous parades that attract hundreds of thousands of residents. Of course, Louisiana is the sportsman's paradise, and nowhere is it more evident than Northwest Louisiana, with its 8 area rivers and lakes nearby, and 16 public and private golf courses, miles of scenic riverfront biking and jogging trails, and some of the prettiest parks in the South. The American Rose Center, just west of Shreveport, is the largest park dedicated to roses in America. Shreveport will also bring out your artsy stuff, with 24 amazing area museums, the Shreveport Opera, Metropolitan Ballet, Shreveport Symphony, and 8 other community theaters. We are home to Art Place, the largest annual student arts festival in the South, with more than 50,000 participants. If sports is your thing, check out our nationally televised Champion World Independence Bowl football game at Independence Stadium, which also hosts hard-hitting regular season college football games. We are also home to the Shreveport Buckeyes, an ice hockey team that is in the National American Hockey League that offers ice skating lessons and opportunities to the public. You can also enjoy the Shreveport Raptors, our soccer team that competes in the South Region South Central Conference. But it's not all fun and games. Shreveport is home to some of the highest-rated public schools in the state. Caddo schools boast 12 national progressive schools of excellence. Higher education opportunities also exist with nationally recognized Centenary College, one of the best private colleges in the U.S. Southern University Shreveport, Louisiana State University Shreveport, and Northwestern State University School of Nursing. We are proud to be the home of LSU Health Sciences Center, one of America's top-notch academic schools that includes medicine, graduate studies, and allied health protection. To meet the needs of our workforce development for business and industry, Northwest Louisiana Technical College offers extensive and customized vocational training programs. Shreveport donated approximately 20,000 acres to the U.S. Department of Defense, specifically to build Clarksville Air Force Base, which came online in the early 1930s. Clarksville is home to Air Force Global Strike Command, which is responsible for the nation's 3 intercontinental ballistic missiles, and the Air Force's entire bomber force. The base is the largest employer in the area, with over 11,000 employees. Many people are pleasantly surprised when they discover the level of exceptional health care available in this area. Nationally recognized health systems with the latest medical advancements put Shreveport on par with major markets like Houston and Atlanta when it comes to health care facilities. Shreveport's centralized U.S. geographic location makes it an ideal commercial distribution hub, being situated at the crossroads of 3 major interstates, I-20, I-49, and I-220 makes travel a breeze getting from one side of town to the other in 15 to 20 minutes. Shreveport's rich Regional and Downtown Airport state-of-the-art location region with both commercial and private services, providing daily non-stop service to 7 major hub destinations on 5 airlines, connecting with one stop to anywhere in the world. Our downtown airport is the largest general aviation airport in Louisiana and in a 5-state region east of Texas. Shreveport Regional Airport serves as a diversion airport for Houston and Dallas area airports and has air cargo options to support a dynamic and growing region. Plus, Shreveport is home to one of America's top inland ports, the Port of Shreveport Ocean, which ships millions of tons of cargo all over the world. Another benefit of living in Shreveport is that it has the lowest cost of living of all Louisiana's major cities with very affordable housing costs. We are Shreveport proud, a city with major progressive industries and skilled growth, a city with southern charm and hospitality, a city where diversity is embraced, family values are still a way of life, a city of faith, family, and freedom, a city with a proud past and an exciting future. Shreveport, Louisiana, a great place to call home.
All right.
Copies, if y'all need any for, if y'all have a company or anybody that y'all would like to share, just call me and I'll get more copies for you. And it's gonna be online as of tomorrow. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Akers. Those are the announcements for today. Thank you.
Mayor, thank you. And thank you, Ms. Akery, for this timely presentation.
Oh, thank you.
The reason I said timely is that I attended the North Shreveport Business Association luncheon meeting today. And Mayor Lo Walker of Boulder City was the speaker. And Mayor Walker gave a very impressive presentation. And I left there feeling kind of sad because his presentation really shared a vision of where Boulder was going. And he even mentioned that he got a report, was it last week, saying that Boulder is now the 6th largest city and fastest growing city in Louisiana. He outlined the new infrastructure development, the highway road system that are being enacted, the growth of new businesses. And I was like, were we falling behind somewhere? But you just expressed that we're not falling behind. We still have a great city, a great attractions, great residents, and like Pastor Warren say, all we have to do now is realize what we have in our own city and work together and grow upon those things.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that timely report, and
Absolutely.
that timely presentation.
I just need to say that we are going to be doing a campaign on Shreveport Pride. We still feel that in North Louisiana particularly, we are the city. So many other cities wish they had what we had. We do not tout what we have. We help beat up on ourselves instead of being very proud of what we have. And this video expresses all of those dynamic assets that this city possesses. And we're hoping that once we finish with this campaign, we too will experience that same pride. And today, if you watch the video, you will note that there is no other city up here that has what we have here in Shreveport.
Thank you.
And we'll be selling that.
We're going to sell that, Mayor.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite all-time movies is The Wizard of Oz. And I like The Wizard of Oz because Dorothy, you remember Dorothy, who ended up in Oz. And Dorothy wanted to come back home. But before she had her accident to go home, she was telling her Auntie Em that she wanted to explore. She wanted to do other things. And as a matter of fact, she got a little dog, Toto, and they headed out. But once Dorothy got to a foreign place, she wanted to come home. because she realized after she got where she was that all the things that she was seeking was right there at home. So when she got back in the movie, she said there's no place like home.
Absolutely.
And that's the sentiments that I express with Shreveport.
Absolutely.
There's no place like home. And I think we can show the world that there is no place like Shreveport.
Absolutely.
And videos and presentations like this, and us promoting ourselves,
Absolutely.
would go a long ways in expressing those sentiments of Shreveporters.
Absolutely.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just add something in your comment, I think that was a very good analogy. And for those of us who travel and we go to Dallas or Houston or Austin and we go, well, why can't we have XYZ, whatever it is that we see there sometimes, or we travel on business. It's good for us, and I wish every one of our citizens could see this video, would see this video.
Absolutely.
Because it is good sometimes to look at that and go, oh, I forgot that happens here, or, certainly everybody looks like they're having a good time, and they're attractive, and they're involved, and that's good, and I like that. But I think that sometimes we do forget the good things we have here, and we do take things for granted sometimes.
Absolutely.
So I hope that this is viewed by a lot of people in the city as well as those who we want to attract to our community.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well, Councilman. Okay, any other remarks or communication from council members? If not, we are to receive our reports. Property standards. Screen is here. Anyone have any questions or inquiries regarding property standards? Mr. Green, I see none. Thank you for your service. Our revenue collection and surety bond, we received those by electronic means last week. Anybody who didn't receive those, let us know. Crawford, I think it was forwarded to us.
Yes, sir. Last week.
Okay, like I said previously, today, we have a public hearing on our 2017 proposed budget, executive budget. The mayor presented those to us a month ago, and we've had sessions amongst the council members and the public to sort of go over those documents and scrutinize them and make comments and remarks as it relates to what we feel the budget represents. It's been online. It's been in the public domain. So at this time, we will receive any further comments from the public as required by our rules and charter. So I'm going to call the public hearing on the 2017 proposed budget to order. Does the administration have a presentation or any remarks before we get started with the public meeting?
No, sir. We've already done all of our presentations.
And I trust that the public has been engaged with the process prior to today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna call some names of persons who want to speak on the budget, and I'm gonna start with Attorney John Settle, and I want council to engage me with Attorney Settle. Attorney Settle notified me earlier that he wanted to come and speak on the budget, but he felt like he would need additional time over the 3 minutes. So I'm going to allocate Mr. Settle 5 minutes if there's no objections. Settle, please come forward and state your name and your address.
My name is John Settle. My home address is 33 Tealwood, Shreveport. That's in District B, I think. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'll try to speak fast. Number one, I am proud that my minister, Dr. Rutten, Juan Hurtis is here today. He's been part of our church since July 2014. As one of the founding members, I can say he's probably the most inspirational and sometimes controversial because he does prick our conscience, and I think he's a welcome addition to our church and our community. I'm not sure who's watching Hugh, if he's watching me or I'm watching him, but it's going to be a tough challenge.
Be good then, Mr. Suttle.
Secondly, I came here in '77, driving down I-20 looking for Barksdale because I'd been assigned here from Castle Air Force Base. And when I drove down I-20 looking for the exit, I knew 0 people in this community. And so, good and bad, I've worked hard to try to learn my way around it. I really wish that the video was as true as it seemed to be. I think it's a great presentation piece, but I would think that if people are going to relocate here, they would probably read the Times, the crime report, and look at local TV. And I really think there's other issues that's great to sell the city on, and we can all pat ourselves on the back, but let's also realize that our city has some challenges that really need to be addressed. 350 new jobs at the new Kroger, Forbing, which is right next to our church, and at Whole Foods is great. But a lot of those are going to be part-time jobs, low-paying jobs. We've lost 70 jobs to Moonbot moving. 70 millennials. I don't know what the average salary is, but the millennials are the generation we're trying to get. And we've lost other businesses that are cutting back. And if you don't know businesses cutting back, I'll give you a list because I have people telling me that their salaries are being reduced, their staff's being reduced. The Times itself, the Shreveport Times, I think, reduced their staff by 7 recently. So let's get real. There's some real issues in our local economy. And while we're talking about that, let's talk about the MPC and the UDC. How much are they helping businesses get open? There's a new business down there, Forbing Ice House, that's been struggling for over a month to get open. The new gas station at Camp Forbing, that's going to the Camp Forbing complex, couldn't open last Monday because of a landscaping requirement. And I know landscaping is important, but we're not living in Carmel, California. And we've got jobs and businesses that could be open. Personally, I'm getting tired of picking up the paper 3 or 4 times a week and seeing more murders in our city. We're well on the way to being the Chicago of Louisiana, and that bothers me. But let's talk today and about the port. They don't ship anything by water. They're a great economic engine, but let's be real. It's a tax breaks that drive the businesses there. And they don't ship anything by water because the Red River hadn't been utilized for 2 years due to flooding and silting. But let's get to the budget. I think you're kicking the can down the road, just like prior councils have done when we had the infrastructure problem, and finally Mayor Glover was forced to deal with that. Now you're rating the $9 million out of the Riverfront Fund to meet operating costs. How long can you do that? How long can you continue to have all these empty lots in Shreveport that you do maintenance on, but yet the taxes on those are paid by other entities? Why doesn't the school board or the parish or some other people who would derive money from those things help with maintenance? And I know there's some discussion of a redevelopment agency, but that needs to happen soon. What about underutilized parks? I ride by one all the time. We spent money trying to keep those open. Let's face the music. You can't keep everything open and just to look good for politics. And then we could go on to other issues. Your garbage fee and setting up a separate enterprise zone better be really enterprise agency better be very carefully thought, because if it doesn't work out, what happens then? I think this budget is seeing through rose-tinted glasses. I think that it's great to kind of keep everything and put a nice spin on it, but I don't think that's reality. And I don't think the trend for revenue coming in this city has shown any increase. So I really think you need to look hard at some major policy decisions on staffing in the city, empty lots, underutilized parks, rating the Riverfront Fund, and the garbage bill. And I've finished up my time. But let's take off the rose-tinted glasses when we're not trying to recruit people on the outside, and let us address that. And I didn't see any pictures from your district in that video. I didn't see any from your district, and I don't think I saw any from your district. I like downtown, and I like the riverfront and all the neat things, but I ride other streets as well. And I think we need to think about everybody's district. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Sammy Mears?
Sammy Mears, 1901 Centenary Boulevard, Shreveport, 71101. The reason I come today is because I am really, I'm really concerned about this collection fee. $12 is not really very much to ask for if you really think about it. The trash that has been thrown out on the streets, the sidewalks, and not picked up is the most ridiculous and bunch of nonsense I've ever seen in my life. It's really stupid. And I'm getting tired of people doing this because it's trashing Shreveport, and I don't like that. Even one time, I came home from the Highland Center one night after the blessing dinner that we have there, and on my way home, I had to pick up paper and leftover French fries that were left on the road. Nobody even bothered to pick them up on Olive Street, so I had to do that, and I had to be the one to throw them away, and I had trouble bending down a little bit, which was no fun. Can't bend down all the time, as you pretty well know. I feel that if $12 is a good collection fee for a lot of people to stop this nonsense and stop throwing trash on the road and the sidewalk, I say go for it. Do it. It's time people stop doing that. It's just really a bunch of nonsense. And I don't like evil shark litter bugs either. I can't stand them. If they think it's fun and games, they're not. And I'll tell you one thing, too. I'm not their janitor, and I'm not going to be. They're looking for a janitor. If they make the mess, they should be the ones to clean up their mess. I'm tired of their little games. So just go through with the $12 fee for now, and if that doesn't do it, it'd be best to increase it to put all this nonsense to an end. It's time people read the billboards. Don't be trashy, keep it classy. Shreveport is home. Do they have eyes but not read? Do they have ears but not hear the TV when people are talking about this? Because if they don't, pity. Because I'm making my point today, I am not anyone's janitor. I don't plan on it, and I don't think anybody else would want to be their janitor either. So this needs to stop. Go through with it, and if that doesn't do the $12, increase it.
Thank you, Mr. Mears. Ron Hardy.
While Mr. Hardy is coming, I want to address back to Mr. Sutter. I want to let him know that the fairgrounds is in my district, and we do have the Independence Bowl, the ice skating, and the Louisiana State Fairs there also. So I just want to let you know that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Please state your name. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Okay, Ron Hardy, 720 Hope Street. And I'm here to address about the Black Cultural Arts Coalition. I was at the hearing, the meeting, the budget meeting, and I had to leave that Saturday. And I understand that there was some concerns about who is the Black Cultural Arts Coalition. And I wanted to address those just before the city council people so they would know who we are. Okay, the Black Cultural Arts Coalition of Shreveport is comprised of 5 nonprofit 50C13 organizations. The member organizations are Pomoja Art Society, Theater Performing Arts Society, Inner City Road Modern Dance Company, Players and Players Incorporated, and New Arts Cultural Society. Okay, 2 of these organizations are the oldest black or Negro or whatever you want to call it organizations in the state of Louisiana. They both have at least 40 years of service. So we're talking about 80 years of serving citizens of Shreveport in arts and music and culture in the city. So that's who those 2 organizations are, Pomoja and Theater Performing Arts. Okay. Intercity Road Modern Dance Company, Luther Cox heads that organization, and he's been programming here in the city of Shreveport for the last 33 years. Okay, now, Mr. Cox started the, what is he called? He has the statewide Black Dancers and Choreographers Conference, and that is the only one in the state of Louisiana. He's been doing that for over 20 years. To this date, his event still takes place once a year. Is 1 year in Shreveport. They alternate to Lafayette, so they're doing their thing. Now the New Arts Spiritual, the New Arts Cultural Society has been instrumental in the community of keeping the tradition of old Negro spirituals alive and relevant in the black community here locally, as well as the entire state and regionally. The Negro spirituals, they keep that alive. Okay, Players and Playettes Incorporated, our organization that I front, we've made our mark in the community for the last 20 years, serving the underserved population of Ledbetter Heights, right? Okay, over the past 10 years, and one of the things about our programming, too, it's been very innovative and creative. We deal with that. That's one of the good things about it. We've been able to fit in all kind of grooves that no one else could really see. And I won't, if anybody wants to know about our program, we can deal with that later. But, and now over the past 10 years, since the demise of that poverty-stricken Ledbetter Heights neighborhood.
Mr. Chairman? Yes, sir, your time has expired.
Can I get a couple more minutes? I mean, can you ask them or? But the whole point is that's who we are, and there was a lot more I had to get to. But just to let the councilman know, because a lot, I mean, I know you know, Willie. I know Jeff has an idea what some of us do, but maybe some of the other ones didn't. And I wanted to, as president this term of the Cultural Arts Coalition, and I wasn't able to address the meeting at the budget meeting, and I had to leave, so I wanted to come and, and if you
And I appreciate that, Ron, and you're welcome to stay around and speak again at the end of the meeting.
Okay, and
comments. But we was trying to get the meat of our budget issues.
But I would say one thing: if they need to know why we were formed, Mr. Cox can give you that information later, maybe in his presentation of why we were formed, the need for us.
And the coalition expressed their desire to receive a little extra funding.
Yeah, but
but that's all a part of the record from the hearing.
Okay, well, I wasn't there. I left that morning. So as president of the coalition, I felt it was my duty to express to people that need to know what we are and why we are.
And we appreciate you coming, and we encourage our citizens to be a part of these type of hearings, okay? Wade Lyons. Please state your name and your address for the record, sir.
Good afternoon to you, Mayor, Councilman, and fellow citizens. This is a first for me, and I really appreciate America where I can do this.
Give us your name and address again, Mr. Lyons.
Name again, Wade Lyons. Address is 506 Yolanda Lane. That's in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
I want to go on record against the $12 fee, tax, whatever you want to say. I'm not against a raise for anyone who does a job and should get a day's pay. What I am against is a government where money goes in this pocket and goes out that pocket, and the citizens expect more when there's no money to do it. You can't do everything for everyone, for everybody. And it just, I know Chief Crawford would tell you that there's just not enough money to do everything. But the method that we derive the money is where I have problems with, is that I know you can remember pre-Glover when we didn't have a recycling fee. I can remember when we didn't have a security fee, when we didn't have I don't recall the time that a franchise fee was added, but I'm sure it went through the council's purview. But there's a franchise fee for electricity, a franchise fee for so I'm reminded of that we were established as a nation because the fees were on tea, and we didn't like that. A tax, a fee. The name is just a little bit different. But if money comes out of my pocket and goes into somebody else's, that's what that's sort of what I'm getting at. And the North invaded the South. North invaded the South because the South wanted to secede because we didn't want to pay the taxes. The taxes were all going to come out of these pockets and go in that pocket. So, what I really want to say, and I hope that this will sink in, is to re-examine the government and the things, if the department is absolutely essential in doing a good job, they're the ones to be reported. There are got to be some divisions and districts out there and departments that are not doing the job that were established to do 25, 30, 50 years ago. So examine where your money goes just like I do all the time. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Thank you for coming down. Jerry Little. State your name and your address for the record, please.
Yes, Councilman. My name is Jerry Little. I live at 719 Bottom Street. I'm in District D. Thank you for letting me speak. Mayor Tyler, Councilman, I believe that all of you received an email from me. I'm not a politician. I'm not an attorney. So if I make a oops, it's just because this isn't my thing. But what I would like for the councilman to think about and the mayor to think about very strongly is this $12 fee. I think on the short side, when I think about my personal residence, $12 times 12 months, $144 a year. For me, that's not that much of a hardship. For some people, that might be more of a hardship. However, I am a property manager for a homeowners association, and that's 277 units. And so that fee would be $39,888 annual cost. We've already passed our budget, as well as probably most other associations have, and we think that a lot of thought ought to be given into the process of this fee. How would it be billed? Is there an opt-in? Is there an opt-out? Because I don't know how some properties are going to manage this fee, and without taking it back to the homeowners. And it would be, I don't know that I'm opposed to a fee altogether, but I would like a well thought out process and maybe some type of graduation or gradual increase, much like what they did with the water and sewage. Our sewage bill went up 7% this year for 2017, and so all that has to be in consideration. And I just think I would like to see our administration, and that's what I'm real hopeful for, this administration, is just to have a well thought out process and not just implement something just to implement something. Not have a short-term fix. And thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Okay. I have a couple of others that are not a part of the budget request. Just to be clear, though, are there any other citizens in the audience that had intended to speak on the budget issue? Okay. Seeing none, this hearing is called to expire. All righty. Thank you all for coming down and sharing those. Are there any confirmation or appointments today? Administration?
There are not. There is one first for introduction, which I believe
The clerk will do that. Yes, the clerk will address the
Correct, at the end.
Duly proposed appointment. So, Mr. Clerk, let's move toward our legislative agenda.
Mr. Chairman, do we have any public comments for this part?
Not regarding items on the agenda. The public comments was given, that was part of the budget process.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, we're now under the consent agenda legislation. There are several items. Resolution 182, 183, 184, 185, 186, 187, and 192. A motion to adopt the consent agenda would be in order.
Moved. Second. Moved by Councilman Everson, seconded by Councilman Flory for the adoption of the consent agenda. Any discussion? Let's vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. One is absent today.
Mr. Chairman, we're now under the regular agenda legislation, resolutions on second reading and final passage. The first is Resolution 180. It states the City of Shreveport's endorsement of Venue Solutions LLC to participate in the benefits of the Louisiana Restoration Tax Abatement Program.
Move to postpone.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Everson, seconded by Councilman Corman to postpone. Or any discussion? Let's vote.
Just as FYI, I mean, this is postponed to meet the statutory requirements of it. So
Okay.
There's no concern about it. It just needs to be postponed.
Okay, needs to be postponed. Thank you. Postponement passes 6-0. One is absent today.
The next is Resolution 181. It suspends provisions of Chapter 10 and Chapter 106 of the Code relative to the sale, dispensing, and consumption of alcoholic beverages during the Shreveport Raptors Reserves Winter Season Soccer Games at Louisiana State University of Shreveport.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask that we postpone this 2 more weeks.
Second by the Chair. Then moved by Councilman Corbin, second by the Chair, that 181 will be postponed. Any discussion? Please vote.
I apologize in advance. Why are we postponing?
Everybody involved has not signed up yet.
All right.
From LSU.
Okay, copy. Thank you.
Motion to postpone passes 6-0. One is absent today.
Mr. Chairman, we're now in the introduction of resolutions not to be adopted prior to November the 22nd. The first is Resolution 188. It authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with Cumulus Media Group relative to the Rockets Over the Red Festival and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. Resolution 189 authorizes and provides for waiver of facility permit right-of-way annual fee for the construction of a closed fiber optic network between the LSU Health Science Center and Northwestern State University School of Nursing. 190 authorizes the mayor to execute a pricing agreement with Digital Assurance Certification. Resolution 191 authorizes the mayor to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the city and participating high schools through their governing bodies relative to the Battle on the Border 2017 High School Football Showcase and the use of city personnel, property, and equipment, and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
So move for introduction.
Moved by Councilman Corbin, seconded by Councilman Jenkins for introduction. Any discussion on these resolutions? Seeing none, let us vote, please.
Mr. Everson, please.
Introduction passes 6-0. One is absent today.
We are now under introduction of ordinances not to be adopted prior to November 27, 2016. Ordinance 121 amends the 2016 capital improvements budget. Ordinance 122 amends the 2016 Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund budget. Ordinance 123 amends the 2016 budget for the general fund. Ordinance 124 closes and abandons 2 alleys in Block 2 of the OPE subdivision in Section 6, Township 17 North, Range 13 West. Ordinance 125 amends and reenacts portions of Chapter 74 and 94 of the Code relative to the solid waste collection fee. Ordinance 126 amends and reenacts portions of Chapter 26 Article 6, Division 2 of the Code relative to the solid waste collection fee, and Ordinance 127 amends portions of Chapter 26, Article 5, Division 10 of the Code relative to the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund.
Mr. Chairman, I request that we split this into two votes. I'd make a motion that we introduce ordinances 121, 122, 123, and 124 first.
Second.
It's been moved that we will separate these introductions of ordinances up to 124. 125, 26, and 27, you want to deal with on a different...
Yes.
Motion.
Different
All right.
motion for that.
The motion in the second has been made to separate and adopt 123, 24, sorry, 121, 22, 23, and 24.
To introduce, Mr.
To
Chairman.
introduce them at this time. Okay. Are there any discussions on the proposed introductions? If not, then let's vote to introduce those at this time.
This vote is on the ones that are not the three separated out?
Right. You know,
Okay.
that's going to come up.
The rest of them, okay.
They still will come up.
Oh, yeah, they're coming up next.
Next.
Yeah.
He just wants to talk about it separately.
Yeah.
Try it again, Mr. Jenkins.
The motion to introduce 121, 122, 123, and 124 has been adopted. The chair moved that 125, 126, and 127 would be introduced. Moved by the chair, seconded by Councilman Fleury. Are there any discussion on these introductions? Mr. Fleury.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, I spoke yesterday concerning the situation or the condition of the city, and I thought the administration had made a clear case concerning where we were. Now, I know that I spoke yesterday concerning coming on the council and finding out our financial situation. And I know that it's been said here just moments ago about the city, but you've got to remember that this mayor, this administration, set a strategy for each department. And so I heard those things about cutting and doing, about the parks and everything. But you see, she set up each department director in each department a strategy as to how to operate the department within its means. And so we have administration, I do believe, earlier this year, Mayor, you correct me, but I think it was either this year or last year, you put a freezing hire in. Was it this year or last year?
Last year.
Last year. So steps have been taken. But what gets me is that we come in here today looking at a budget, and we brought all this garbage, this baggage with us from previous years. If we had money from our mineral that we had, we'd probably have $146 million in our account like the Parish Commission. But that didn't happen. We had some choices made. And so therefore we're paying for those sins today. Now, I spoke about the fire truck on Friday about 4:30 that had been placed on a call, and you can only imagine if you had your loved one who was suffering a heart attack and the Shreveport Fire Department had been dispatched to help you where time is of the essence. But our fire truck transmission went out. Now, we had another one on Saturday. We had same similar thing where our fire truck had been dispatched to save a life, help save a life, and a mechanical failure happened. And then yesterday I started coming to the council, and I looked to my side, and a Shreveport police officer
we had it jacked up and we were changing a tire. And I remember early this year where we had policemen to come to the station to go out on their shift, and we did not have cars available. And some of the cars we had, you see the daylight through the floorboard. But we asked the men and women to come and drive and protect us in these type vehicles. Now, I can assure you that crime in certain areas has been up. But I don't have the answer how we're going to solve it. But I do know there are those in the city that have been given this task to come up with something to help reduce crime. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's men and women's heart that's got to be changed. And that's going to take a process. And so as I look back and see where we have come since I've come on the council, and if anybody knows Mayor Ollie Spearman Tyler, you will know that she's not going to waste the taxpayers' money. And I just reject that from these haters out there that say that, because she is not going to waste your money. And so I hope that as we go forth on this, that I heard from some folks this morning, but as I expressed to them the challenges that we have and what we inherited, and I said this early on in the year, is a double stack of big poo-poo. And I can give you the contracts at the airport, the franchise, and it goes on and on and on, that she inherited and this council inherited from the previous 8 years administration. And so we've been given that task today. And if you also know that Mayor Tyler is not one to kick it down the road. She is one to deal with the problems like she had at the airport, and some total surprise. But she said, how can I fix it? And she has got the city departments. No, we're not perfect in the water department. We're not perfect in customer service. But we're trying. We're trying. And so, yes, it's a tough vote to have, but I'm saying that we ought to be able to come back between now and time and put this on a scale somewhere. Smaller amount. I hear this lady. Her budget's been done. I'm on Social Security. I understand all that. I know. But we have got to save our city and turn it around. Because people call us and they say, when you going to fix my street? I ain't got no money. You ain't fixed my street in 13 years. When you going to fix the water leak? Don't have the money. So I'm just asking for people to look from where we come and where we are today and what we inherited. And it's not an easy task. But we're about not pushing it down the road and letting somebody else deal with it and let the city go completely under, because it's worth saving. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor, let me be clear. I want to make a comment, but I want to be clear. Let's go over those three ordinances: 125, 126, and 127.
Okay. Ordinance 125.
Yes.
I'm going to ask Attorney Bradford if you will talk a little bit to the council about the code of ordinances and what we have to do to establish this particular fee within that code.
Yes, ma'am. Chairman, members of the council, ordinance 125 is the first ordinance offered. It provides for an actual solid waste and collection disposal charge of $12 a monthly service fee for solid waste collection. It also amends Chapter 94, the utilities section of the Code of Ordinances, which provides for billing and collections. It places therein the solid waste collection fee to be added to the customer's water and sewer bill for the purposes of billing and to also provide a method for compliance related to offering of that service. Ordinance 126 provides for the actual implementation into the finance chapter of the Code of Ordinances, the fee schedule, to provide that there is a fee charge of $12 per month for that solid waste collection fee. It amends the section of the finance department, or the chapter related to finance, to provide for that fee. And the final ordinance provides that provides for the creation of the solid waste enterprise fund for the purposes of depositing any proceeds generated from that solid waste fee that is collected on behalf of the city of Shreveport for the service related to solid waste collection. Again, that solid waste enterprise fund is directly correlated to the fee that is collected for the solid waste collection by the solid waste division of the Public Works Department.
Okay. And the difference between 126 and 127?
The difference between 126 is it actually has to be placed in the fee schedule under the Finance Department's Code of Ordinance provisions. 127 creates an actual fund under, I believe it's Article 5, Chapter 26, Article 5, Division 10. We actually create the fund. There's a list of funds related to how the city operates under that provision, and it adds the solid waste enterprise fund to that list. So there is a list of fees, and there is a list of funds.
Okay. All right. Let me say this, and I want to be clear. I'm disappointed that even the consideration of thinking, thought to not introduce this legislation would be considered by this body. I am keenly aware, being a citizen of Shreveport and an avid attendee of city council meetings, that over the years, there have been differences between the mayors of this city and the city council of this city. City councils in previous years has been bogged down with fighting over simple things. Simple things. Even the previous council and the mayor spent half of their term fighting over dog parks, any financial advisors. How are we going to get streets done without obligating the city for 10 years or more? But not one time did the council impeded or prohibited a vote on any legislation that the mayor's office brought forth. The mayor deserved a vote on introducing her budget and her budget amendment. She deserved that. Any mayor deserved that. Let the chips fall where they may once the legislation has been introduced. But to talk about let's not introduce an item. I said yesterday, you cannot even consider talking about the present time, the budgets of the present time, this administration, this council, without taking into consideration what we inherited. Not what we inherited, but what we inherited over the years. The mistakes, the incompetency, the bad decisions that have been made that brought us to this point in our existence as a city council, as a city. Sweetheart deals. This mayor, nor this council, was council voted to sell city mineral rights for $1 an acre, where people have made millions of dollars off of over the last 15 years. This mayor, not this council, was present when long-term contracts, when backroom dealings was being made to encompass this city and deprive us of our resources that cost us dollars that we could use right now to help us in our endeavors to finance the operations of this city. This mayor, not as council, was elected when our own resources that had been unpaid was sitting out there in cyberspace, ready to be claimed, and since this man's been in office, through her administration and the city attorney, have claimed $6.7 million in due resources to this city. This man wasn't present, not his council. When this council made so many ill-advised decisions that obligated this council in having to litigate and pay out settlements of over $5 million that we could be using right now to help us in providing a working budget for this city. This council is not responsible for the glass being half full. This man is not responsible for this glass being half full. But yet we are holding, and people are holding us accountable for something that we did not create. But guess what? We're going to face these challenges just the same. We wasn't here for 10 years when the employees of this city did not get a pay raise. But the mayor came in last year, a fresh year, to produce a budget, say, I don't want no city employee making less than $10 an hour, and she proposed a budget amendment to get that done, which supported this council. We got standing claims right now on utility entities that owe us millions of dollars that have been sitting out there on the shelf that could have been utilized years ago that we are now in litigation to claim. This man wasn't there, nor this council. You cannot claim anybody that in the last 21 months, 23 months, that we have engaged in any bickering, any infighting like was happening on a regular council meeting day in the previous administration that bogged this council down. We cannot, in good conscience, allow ourselves. What is an effective council? What is an ineffective council? I ran for public office because I felt like my predecessor was not an effective council person. And when I took that oath of office on the stage of Convention Center, nowhere in that oath did it say, oh, and by the way, only vote on things that are uncontroversial. Only vote on things that are political expedient. Don't vote for nothing that may cause you some political problems. I took an oath that I was going to vote and I was going to support whatever was in the best interest of Shreveport, Louisiana. That was my pledge. And I'm determined to keep that pledge. I am going to keep that pledge. I'm going to hold the mayor accountable when she needs to be held accountable. I'm going to hold this city council accountable when they need to be held accountable. That's what I promised. But to come into a meeting and say, let's not even introduce, not to approve it, but introduce it. I find that to be strange. I find it to be real strange. And whoever thinks that the mayor and the administration have not thought this thing through, that we don't have a plan of action if this measurement is introduced and approved. They thinking from the previous years. Okay. This administration, as well as this council, has proven themselves to be worthy of decisions that we make. This mayor has proven herself let's do the right thing. If it doesn't pass after it's introduced, it doesn't pass. But it's not fair. It's not fair to deny a mayor of Shreveport who was elected by the majority of the people of this city the opportunity to present legislation that she was elected to do. This ain't crowd judgment day. Nothing gonna stop nothing. We're gonna get over this. I mean, the national politics have showed us how crazy we can get. But let's don't get crazy in Shreveport just because we think that something's gonna happen. We know the demographics of this city. We know what we're suffering from. I know it. I know this is a city in transition. And we are the transitional body. This council and this mayor is the transitional government of Shreveport. The next go around in the political election, the face of this council is going to change. We got to do what's right to transition into a future that would be bright, that would be positive, and would be productive. Let's don't muddy the waters, y'all. Let's do what's right. Let's introduce this thing and allow the council to vote on it in whole. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Anybody else have any remarks?
Yes, sir. I've been on the board before you started your sermon.
Okay.
We discussed this thoroughly yesterday, and I made my reasons clear why I supported not introducing it. I believe that in the past hour and a half with public comments, there's been more discussion about the garbage fee with the public than there has been since it was introduced October 1st. And that's the problem I have. There's not been enough discussion with the public, enough working through this, and finding ways to implement this in the right way. Frankly, I'm getting quite tired from administration and some of my fellow council members of what we've inherited. Every mayor inherits problems. Every council inherits problems. And we come to work and we do the best that we can do to solve those problems. I believe that Mayor Tyler's doing that. I believe that this council's trying to do that. We began to talk about mineral money yesterday and how much mineral money the parish commission has. And I think there was even an accusation there had been financial mismanagement at some level in the city council or in administration to pass, and why we don't have mineral money. Well, we did have a mineral fund. We had a mineral fund with somewhere between $9 and $10 million in it. And that mineral fund got transferred into the general fund in the past 5 years. And same scenario we have today. Declining sales tax revenues, increasing costs. You know where that mineral money went? Who? disappeared. Until we take a hard stance and we reduce our costs and we show the citizens that we're going to do some tough things, we're going to make some hard cuts, we're going to close some things down, we're going to live within our means. Until we do that, I guarantee you, before this council finishes its term, we'll see the street special revenue fund evaporate. We've already seen the Riverfront Development Fund evaporate from its intended purpose. We can talk about a garbage fee and how to structure that. I'd be glad to have that conversation next year. But we've not talked about it enough, and we've not done what we need to do with the budget. Now, Chairman Bradford, you're making a claim that I'm trying to stop introduction of the mayor's budget. No, I'm not. The budgets have all been introduced. As I said yesterday, my whole point in not introducing this is to kill the garbage fee right now. Let's get back to work on the budgets, and let's approve those budgets and know where they're going to be in 4 weeks. So I think we have to get our facts right. I understand as a councilman, I work for the citizens of Shreveport. That's who I answer to. I don't answer to Mayor Tyler, Mr. Crawford. I answer to the citizens. They're my bosses. And they've spoken loudly to me. So we have a motion and a second to introduce these. Have no idea where the votes are going to go. But at this point, I'd call for the vote.
Well, you're out of order, sir. You are not allowed to call for the vote once you speak. I have Councilman Jenkins on the floor.
I'm speaking.
Okay.
All right, well, I changed mine. Okay, I'll say this. There's a comment made in the paper today that I made that I've had, unanimous, it's been fairly unanimous of the constituents that I have in my district of how they feel about this garbage fee, okay? That's a fact. But I do, though I may disagree with a lot of the rationale and the reasoning behind your point, your ultimate point of our process is to introduce legislation and use a deliberative process to evaluate and vote on it in 2 weeks. And though I do agree with Councilman Corbin's idea that, if we already knew how that was going to fall out, we could really spend the next month working on the final budget when we knew our revenue numbers. I have to say that your rationale is compelling in that it is our process to introduce legislation and vote on legislation in 2 weeks' time. So I have to support our process. That is not going to change my opinion of, my support for my constituents, but as a function of the process and procedures that we use here, I do think it is appropriate to allow introduction. Make that clear. That doesn't mean I'm supporting it.
I understand.
I am just supporting our process.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Any other council members? Okay. It has been moved by the chair, seconded by Councilman Glory, that we would introduce ordinances 125, 126, and 127. Please vote. Motion passes 5-1 with one absent today. Let's proceed, sir.
Chairman, we're now in the ordinances on second reading and final passage. The first is 119. It amends the 2016 Airport Enterprise Fund budget.
What I hear?
So
Moved by Councilman Everson, seconded by the chair. Are there any discussion? Please vote.
Try it again, Mr. Bradford.
Motion passes 6-0. One is absent today.
Ordinance 120 is a companion to 119. It amends the 2016 capital improvements budget for projects at Shreveport Regional Airport.
Moved by Councilman Everson, seconded by Councilman Bowman. For approval, any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 6-0. One is absent today.
Mr. Chairman, those are all of the items on the regular agenda. I'm not aware of any matter on the table or agenda to be taken from the table.
Okay. And let me say again that council members have had over a month to review all of the proposed budget ordinances. We have had special budget sessions with department heads, MPC, city courts, city marshal's office. If you see where you want to make any amendments to these, please submit them to the clerk as soon as possible. You may continue, sir. Do we have any appeals pending?
We have no appeals to be voted on during this meeting.
Thank you. Do any officers, boards, or committees would like to report at this time?
Just briefly, I'll say, last week there was a joint meeting of the council and the commission to discuss some issues in the UDC, and during that meeting there was a request for the master plan committee to have a near-term meeting before that hit our agenda, and so we have called one. We have called one for Thursday at 1:30, and so certainly invite anybody's attendance or participation that wants to come to that, and obviously there will be additional chances for input, so but did want to let everybody know if there were any initial concerns.
That's Thursday?
Thursday. Also want to thank, and this is not really a committee, but it's sort of become one, want to thank the administration for the follow-up on the historic preservation ordinance was one that was passed back in 2012 in the previous administration, and that ordinance requires, so it established a historic preservation commission, and that commission has been meeting for several years, but they have recently forwarded some documents on that will allow for the enforcement of that ordinance, which was discussed at great length in the previous administration, previous council, but at this point it's been a few years since that's been fresh on our minds, so we requested a meeting with the administration, and they set up a meeting with the Historic Preservation Commission to talk about what that would look like, what issues there are, what questions and concerns we may have, and what information we may need to get to the public before moving forward with that. There's a follow-up meeting on that this Friday at 2, I believe. So want to thank them for taking a role in that. It's something that's been a long time coming, and after we have a chance to kind of coordinate and get some answers in those meetings, we'll share that with the larger council and have a couple of public meetings as well.
Thank you. Now, I understand you have scheduled a meeting?
Public safety on the 21st.
21st. That's prior to
Administrative conference, yes.
administrative conference. Okay. That's a public service committee meeting. What am I saying?
Public safety.
Public safety. Okay. Any other reports? Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, the mayor has appointed Jeffrey R. Anderson as Deputy Director, Department of Water and Sewage. And that will be on your agenda at the next meeting.
Right, and we had an opportunity to meet and engage Mr. Anderson on yesterday, for those who was here. We found him to be a very capable. Oh, he's here again? You wanna meet him, Councilman?
Yeah, I'll be happy to.
Please come forward, Mr. Anderson.
Okay. If he's here, sure. I was going to say I can meet him offline after.
We want to hear what you're asking.
Okay.
The chairman just likes putting people on the hot seat.
I have a list of 15 questions for you. They're all essay, and I'm expecting 5 paragraphs for response. No. So, I don't know what your background is, and I'm sure did somebody get a resume?
Yes.
Okay. But Could you just tell me briefly where you were before this?
Yes, sir. I've spent the past year working for Burt Kleinpeter. We're actually the master planners for the wastewater consent decree. And so I spent the past year getting intimately familiar with many of the challenges the city of Shreveport faces with their consent decree program. I've also been working on the water system. We're also the water system modeling consultant, if you will. And so I've been involved in a lot of the water system modeling for various troubleshooting efforts and many other things that the model is applicable for.
Okay, and so when we
used
talk
to be
about...
the head of the water department for the city of Bossier.
Privatized.
They privatize it, I got you. And when we say water modeling, that's a little bit of fees associated, right? I mean, when you use the term water modeling, EKI did some of our modeling on fee schedules.
That's not exactly what I'm referring to. That was done prior to my tenure there, but what I was referring to is the actual hydraulic calculations, the mathematical modeling of the flows of the system, sizing pipes, troubleshooting, flows not in an area where it should be, those kind of things.
Gotcha. And are you a resident of Shreveport or Bossier?
Bossier City.
Okay. Very satisfied with his credentials and his expertise. So.
Although I hope he liked that video and may look for a house over on this side.
I mean, yeah, all right. It should be very compelling.
Thank you again, Mr. Allison. Thank you. We look forward to your confirmation later on. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. At this time, do we have any additional communication from the mayor?
None, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, let me, Mayor's prayer breakfast is
This Thursday
Thursday.
at 7 o'clock here at the Shreveport Convention Center.
Okay.
And we did send something to each of the city council members asking if you would like to participate. And we do have some tickets, I think, today for those of you who are attending. And we're excited to have it on this side of the river for the first time in a long time, I understand.
Yeah, a long
more
time.
than, I don't know, 15 years maybe.
At least, yeah.
But I did request that of the committee, and I said to them that we pray in Shreveport also, and that we'd like to look at rotating it again, and I've asked General Robin Rand, who is, of course, the commander for the, at Barksdale, the 4-star general, and he's going to fly in just to be our speaker that morning.
Okay.
And so we're excited about it, and we are inviting you to come. We do have the tickets for council members, and so we'll be glad to provide those to you today.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay?
Can I ask you another question?
Yes, sir.
What about the tickets to the grounding game?
We have some of those for you also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we sent something to the clerk this morning, and I believe we asked if you needed some tickets to let us know, and we'll be glad to.
She sent out today? Okay, I didn't read the email. Okay, I apologize.
That's okay. I know you're busy. We did send that out to all the council members, though, and we asked if you needed some tickets to let us know.
Apparently he's more concerned about football game than a prayer breakfast, but that's the way I took it. I mean, entertainment over spiritual.
That's why we're getting.
Yeah.
LSU is football is their religion down there.
Absolutely.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I forgot one item that I should have reported on.
Okay.
Today is Brian Crawford's birthday. He's getting older, and he's trying to catch up with me.
Well,
I can't catch you, Art. You're too fast.
happy birthday, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Crawford, thank you for your service. You with the mayor's conjunction of you two, y'all presented a real tight budget, I thought. And this Jones, certainly.
Thank you.
Okay. Any communication from the council members? Additional communication?
I'd just like to say that however it happens to go tonight, our prayers are for the Jenkins family in this election, that what may be is what the Lord's will be. So good luck to you tonight, Oliver.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me just follow up, Jeff. I just want to follow up and say that seeking higher Well, first of all, seeking public office is an honor. It's a privilege that is afforded Americans. And you're very smart. I mean, your level of competency and qualifications is there. You know, unfortunately, in a city, in a state, and in a country where our life experiences create our character, and in some instances, our philosophy on life, we just happens to difference on some things that I think or you think should help and improve things. You know, I mean, the country, Louisiana, is a red state. It's a red state. I mean, that we can say about it. You know, the country is polarized to the level where to a level that I've not seen before. But I think common denominator is that our hearts, and that our hearts would dictate and direct us on things that we would not ordinarily do. But once we realize that it is serving mankind, then I think we can lay aside some of this other stuff and be compelled by our hearts to do things that right. I asked the group, and you wasn't there, but at the Democratic meeting, why is it that we become more loyal on a national level to partisan politics than we do to the constituents of our districts? And I don't know why it's like that. I guess we just have to just monitor that. But I do think at the end of the day, you would make an excellent congressman. Because you have expressed over the last 2 years here your character and your heart, and we do wish you well, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Everson.
Thank you. I was just going to mention, following up on something Mike said, as somebody who was on the previous council, it does sometimes get a little frustrating to continue to hear these things of, we inherited this, we inherited that. 'Cause the previous council inherited a lot of problems. Every council that's ever existed inherited problems and responsibilities. That's why we take these offices. But what's funny is I hear it stated, that we have to make these tough choices. Anytime we start talking about creating new revenue, and I mean, this happens anytime there's a conversation about a new revenue. Now, it seems, really, it may be kind of a new conversation for some people, because we haven't done a lot of new revenue streams in this council. But the previous council did create a $175 million general obligation bond. I haven't heard any complaints about spending that. This council didn't create that bond. We've spent it. And we created the street special revenue bond. And I haven't heard anybody thanking us for inheriting that. You also inherited the street special revenue fund. You also inherited a fully funded consent decree water rate structure that you didn't have to vote on. So, there are things that let's keep in mind. You've inherited resources too. So let's not all put the blame of things on the past, because we've inherited resources as well as challenges. And every council and every administration, that doesn't take away from the challenges that we have at hand. I fully acknowledge those. But, there are, there's good work that has been done that we've inherited as well. Thought that was worth pointing out.
I think we should, if I may, we have been good stewards in regards to property taxes. We have significantly lowered property taxes in this city over the last 5 years. And every annual budget has its own challenges, and we discuss various ways of addressing those. I don't necessarily think we're doing a better job now than we were 4 years ago. I think we're all coming to work trying to figure out solutions to the betterment of our city. I do appreciate the cooperative spirit we have with the mayor, and she's been very transparent in, her process, and I appreciate that. With that being said, every administration has challenges as well as councils, and how we, work together to overcome those is something that really we need to keep doing.
And I appreciate those remarks. I really do. I mean, when I make my expressions, it's for your benefit. I'm mostly talking about the previous administration. And I was here. You know, y'all saw me out there for quite a time. And I thought you guys, the three of you, I thought you guys held the line, held the fort. But you cannot deny the bickering and the infighting that sort of hurt us. And you did inherit some stuff, but you had a little bit more leeway in dealing with some things that was necessary to deal with, in spite of. But I'm going back even further than your first 4 years. I'm going back to where a lot of obligation and incumbency was placed upon this city that I thought, that I believe that is now coming home to roost. That we are paying for it. And in my professional life, I said yesterday that I don't like to be held accountable for something I didn't create. I usually go in with the authority to make it better. And making it better sometimes is unpopular. But that's not what I'm concerned about, being popular. I'm concerned about doing something right. And the difference in what my vision of what is not happening, because we don't have the resources, is that we've pretty much been babysitting a city. I mean, we haven't initiated outside of bond package in 2011, which again I think no mayor would leave $100 million on the table in 4 years after it was passed. But what Low Walker said this morning, in that the expansion and the progressiveness that Bolger has now established is attracting. I mean, I saw statistics somewhere that Bolger is going to grow by 15,000 to 20,000 in the next 5 years or something. We need to get busy at doing something. And I'm saying, in my personal belief of an effective city council and a mayor is based upon what happened during the transition of the 70s from the parish, from the commission form of government to the council form of government. They understood the challenges as well as the unbalanced demographics, but they was fighting over how do we pave all dirt streets? How do we create parks and recreation in the African American communities? We wasn't fighting over. They wasn't fighting over. Should we put this over here, put that over there? And that's what I'm saying. We want to be progressive, and I think we got 2 years, at least I do, to become and work with the mayor, work with this council. Let's do something. Let's do something big. Let's do something that we can leave a legacy behind. And we can't do that as long as we talk about the cup. The cup is getting empty, and we don't take an approach to try to refill that cup. How do we refill that cup? Instead of, again, I'm a conservative in the fact that let's cut the fat. I told you once before, my granddaddy was a farmer, and he would tell us all the time, we don't need to feed 4 meals when we can get by with 3. And if we can get by with less, let's get by with less. But let's don't become complacent in thinking that everything is the way they are. But let's get busy looking at what fat we can start trimming, and then at the same time, how can we institute new ideas to make this city grow? And those are the challenges. I have several, and let me apologize. One of these could have been characterized as a part of the budget, but he marked not a part of the budget. Patrick, please come forward, sir. You want to speak on the Lakeside Park
Lakeside Park Golf Course, we used to be called the First Tee Jerry Tim Brooks.
Right.
I do want to announce that we're unfranchising. We've entered into a mutual termination agreement with the First Tee so that we can get back to the business of coaching golf down at Lakeside Golf Course.
Okay.
To do that, we're going to need additional funding of $24,000 to allow those children, the future, the next generation of golfers, the next leaders, the next citizens that are going to grow this city. Because I was born in 1950, and I've seen opportunities come and go. But I see that this city is full. The streets are torn up, but that's progress. When you don't build bridges, when you don't take care of the infrastructure, the children are our infrastructure. We just want to coach golf, be a part of the new Shreveport. People that work together, live together, and love one another. So I felt like I walked into a minefield, but I do want to say this for this city council. Y'all are courageous. And unlike maybe in the past, there were differences, y'all work together. Only by being an open society who are not afraid to take controversial issues on, can we progress. Now, I don't want to go past 3 minutes because it's time. And I just want y'all to consider, once y'all got the budget running, because we know it can't come out of SPAR. Mayor Tyler and I have discussed this back in February, but we are now ready to move forward. And anything that y'all can do to help us, that's fine. But we're going to stand on our own too, because we're going to start coaching golf. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those remarks. Luther Cox? Luther? No, we're fine. No, we had no questions. Oh, okay, is that Raymond Alford and Coach Carter with you there? That's Thank you, and we appreciate your work y'all do over at the Lakeside, with Jerry Tim Brooks Golf Course with the First Tee. Young people. Thank you. Did Luther Cox leave? I guess so. All right. Sammy Mears.
Sammy Mears, 1901 Centenary Boulevard, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101, and I'm back. Only this time I've got something very interesting to talk about. I was at 402 Prospect on October 21st, and it's a community renewal friendship house. They had a taco supper, and then after that with lemonade, they called door prizes. And this is the thing that I was really happy about. The number 010 was called, and I had the winning ticket. I won 2 tickets to go to the state fair, and I was very, very happy about it, which I haven't been to in about maybe 10 years. The first thing I did was, on October 28th when I got there, was I went through the livestock a little bit, and then this little goat sounded off as I passed by, and I said, "Don't be no fool." The goat sat down, and I walked away to go to the carnival. So in other words, I had a conversation with a goat. I was so touched. But anyway, I walked out and I made my way around to the carnival, and I found some concession stands and got myself something to eat. Hamburger fries and a Coke for a good $13 price or $14 price. But it was worth to get out and do something to enjoy myself. Afterwards, I went around where the rides were, didn't ride any. But I went to the agriculture building and saw these little chicks under a light and staying warm. And then I made my way to this railroad gate, and I walked it where these 3 handmade crossing flashing red light signals were flashing, which were interesting. I came to where they had cotton and wheat and corn that they were discussing about, and they even talked about how tomatoes are formed into things like ketchup, tomato paste, and a great tasting sauce like in pizza, which is why I got two slices of pepperoni pizza and a Coke for $16. Enjoy that. Afterwards, I was in where they had this tent, and these bows and arrows were being shot into the tent, and the kids were hitting the tent. And I made a fist and said, whoever's in there, if you want a fat lip right now, you're getting warm. And then another bow hit the tent, and I said, you came with teeth. Do you want to leave with teeth? And I had my fist ready to pop them. Another one hit, and I just said, I ought to pop you. But I went on ahead and I left, and then they showed me what was going on, and I felt like a dingbat, such as Edith Bunker. Duh. But all in all, I went to a dog show, and they had Siberian Huskies that were jumping hurdles. One even walked a tightrope back and forth a couple of times. Well, I think a little more time. This is really important. But what I did was, may I? Anyway.
Finish.
Okay. Anyway, at the dog show, I watched them jump the hurdles and the tightrope, and then we got to pet the dog, and I put out my hand and I said, if I shake hands, would you shake paws? It shook. I said, would you do this one? It did. Then this other Siberian Husky got jealous and barked about twice. I said, listen, you stop that nonsense before something falls off. It went, roo, roo, roo. I said, well, you tell your mama while you're at it. He went, roo. And I knew I was losing to a dog, so I walked away and went to catch the bus and went home.
Thank you. Sharita Cooks. State your name and your address for the record.
Yes, my name is Sharita Cooks. My address is 3826 Winter Park Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to speak. I would like to say good afternoon to the Honorable Mayor Ollie Tyler, Mr. Crawford, and Fire Chief Scott Wolverton, and the citizens of Shreveport. On April 21st, 2016, I filed a 40-page complaint with 66 proofs of documentation about working in an unproductive and hostile work environment for over a year. Because of the people that I named in my complaint, the HR director, Ms. Angelita Jackson, referred my complaint to the city attorney's office. As a result of the hostile and stressful environment that I worked in, I was transported to Willis-Knighton Hospital on April 4th, 2016, with a blood pressure reading of 190/100. I returned to work and continued to be badgered and suffered a great deal of stress. I was the recipient of profane emails, name-calling, threatened, disrespected, and received no support from the prior chief of communications and very little support from the current administration. Each time that I tried to discipline this employee, I was met with much opposition and received no support. I requested to seek help through our employee assistance program so that I could cope with the stress of my job environment, and initially my request was denied. It was only after I insisted that I had requested to go to the employee assistance program appointment during my lunch hour and take 30 minutes for lunch that my appointment was approved for that one time. I would like to point out that other 8 to 5 administrative employees are permitted to go to doctor appointments during work hours. From April 18th through June 30th, 2016, I was not able to work due to the stress caused by the acts of the employee who created this hostile work environment. I was forced to take vacation time, sick time, unpaid time, and I also incurred medical expenses. On October 14th, I received a confidential interoffice memorandum from the City Attorney's Office via Human Resources Director, Ms. Angelita Jackson. I would like to point out that Mr. Bradford and Ms. Angelita Jackson and Mr. Bradford's staff has always been professional and respectful to me, as well as Ms. Jackson. My complaint was sustained. Keep in mind, my complaint was filed on April 21st, 2016. On October 26, 2016, Mr. Bradford and Ms. Jackson met with me to discuss the findings of my complaint. Mr. Bradford explained to me that the city attorney's office can only make a recommendation and cannot enforce any disciplinary action. Since then, the employee that committed this offense was promoted to a non-classified or appointed
Without objection, please finish your remarks.
or appointed position which this employee was not qualified for, nor was this position advertised for, and this employee was given a pay raise. Does the city reward bad behavior? I disciplined this employee for disrespect and serious breaches of confidentiality. I asked Mr. Bradford if the city takes into consideration an employee's work performance. Mr. Bradford explained to me that there are 3 classes of employees within the city of Shreveport. They are civil service, fire and police, classified, non-classified, or appointed. In a non-classified or appointed position, it is up to the employee's direct department supervisor to determine what criteria is required of a position. It is also up to the employee's department supervisor to determine what disciplinary action to be taken. Mr. Bradford could not tell me what disciplinary action would be taken or how long that it would take the employee supervisor to make a decision. It is also my understanding that this department head has a proclivity for creating positions for unqualified candidates. This job has taken a toll on me. On Monday, November 7, 2016, I asked my immediate supervisor for a paid administrative leave of absence until the city could decide what they were going to do, because I no longer felt safe or valued as an employee. As I suspected, my request was denied. I informed my immediate supervisor that I felt like I should quit for good cause and seek legal action. Later in the same day, I asked my immediate supervisor if the city would approve an unpaid leave of absence until the city figures out what they want to do. I was instructed that my unpaid leave request was denied, and I was advised that if I did not report to work, I would be considered AOL, and I needed to submit a letter of resignation if it was my intention to quit. Last but not least, the City of Shreveport's Fire Department is the only CALEA accredited agency in the nation. CALEA stands for Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies and Public Service Agencies. We have been the only CALEA accredited agency since 2003. CALEA is 100% voluntary. The primary cornerstone that sets a CALEA accredited agency apart from any other public service agency is the transparency, the objectivity, the credibility, consistency, knowledge, experience, accountability, and collaboration in an effort to inspect what we expect. I was hired on July 1st, 2014 because the former management assistant accreditation manager retired abruptly. I hit the floor running. My primary duty, other than my duty to our citizens, was to manage the CALEA accreditation process, which is no small feat. CALEA has over 212 standards. There's a minimum of at least 636 proofs you have to have, for a total of approximately over 1,700 proofs over a 3-year period. When I came on board with the city, I gave the city my commitment to do my best, and I lived up to that commitment. I worked days, nights, weekends, and holidays, and I received no extra pecuniary benefit to learn about our organization and CALEA. On July 21st, 2015, the Shreveport Fire Department received their 5th CALEA Reaccreditation Award. It was the best assessment in the annals of the city's history. If you were to read my complaint, I am confident that you would agree that you would not want any relative or colleague to experience what I have experienced. I inherited a bad employee, and if you know the right people, the city rules and policies may not be applicable to you. You can get away with anything. Through it all, I tried to help that employee, and one thing that I learned, behavior is a choice, and you can't change behavior. It takes courage to stand up and do the right thing, even when it's not popular. And my question to this administration is, why should I have to quit my job when I have done nothing wrong? I followed all of the processes, and here I am, as of today, no longer a city employee. That's my question, and I thank you for your time. Thank you, Mayor Tyler. Thank you, City Council.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. Your remarks was received by this council.
Thank you.
While we are, your situation is outside of the preview of this council.
I understand, sir.
I am sort of disturbed on what you said.
Yes, sir.
I will speak to the administration regarding what is transparent. Use whatever options that you feel you have to get some resolve for your situation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I thank you. And Mayor Tyler, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no other request to speak. But to be clear, was there anyone here who had a desire to speak and their name was not submitted or called? See none. Is there any other business that need to come before this body today? Meeting is adjourned.
Get in line and vote.